What do you want to know? I worked at First Bank. I work in international banking in First Bank. I don't say necessarily I have a profession. But I guess if you wanted to put a label on me, I would say I'm a project manager. I have been working at First Bank for 4 years now. Prior to working at First Bank, Prior to working at First Bank, I used to work at Stanbic as an investment manager. Prior to that, I worked in IBM. But really, I mean, for me, let me tell you a bit about my story, and I think what Misan was talking about. So, for me, I feel I'm a product of, and I'm not saying this with a lot of conceit, but a product of hard work. It might not be as obvious as you think, but it's also a lesson I learned later in life. I didn't learn it necessarily as young as I would like. Growing up, a lot of things came easy to me. I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word conceit again. It just did. I'm smart. There's a lot of things I could do very easily. Maths came easy. Going to school came easy. So I didn't necessarily need to work as hard as other people to kind of do well in school. I did, however, I think there were certain things that were challenging to me. I'm really bad at writing. My handwriting is very bad. I struggle also a bit with, not reading per se, but when I read, sometimes the words kind of get mixed up. So instead of seeing like a B, I would see a D. Instead of seeing a P, it would flip over and I would see like a B, exactly, and things like that. And I was lucky that I was able to find, oh wow.
Look at our friends.
I know some people here. Hi. Hi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hands are on crew. Sorry, I'll explain that later. So I found out, I was lucky to find out early in life that I had something that is a learning disability called dyslexia. So it causes you dyslexia. You can Google it. I might have to Google it to totally describe it, but that's exactly what it is. I can't spell because I'm dyslexic.
Yes. So because of dyslexia, you can't spell.
So you can spell it.
D-Y-S-L-E-X-I-A. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, literally, it's a struggle for me to spell. I mean, it's a struggle because of the disability I have. It's a struggle to write. It's a struggle for me to read, but I love to read. Now, I was lucky to have found out about this relatively early on. I was 11 when I found out that, oh wow, there's something that explains the struggles I've been having in school. Yes, I was doing well in school. My maths was fantastic, but English, I was always carrying last, and I didn't know why. But I was lucky around 11 to find out what it is. But still, as soon as I found out, I was lucky that I had a lot of help going through it. So till I was 16, I did GCSEs at 16. Well, I did A-levels, I got all A's. I was really feeling like a bad girl. I thought I had arrived. That's 18, I had really arrived in my head. When I went to university and reality hit. You realize, and that's one of the things I've learned through my kind of journey, that actually the more and more we go through life, there's always somebody better than you, and it's really not as easy as that. And I think for me, I learned it when I was 18. I learned it when I went to university. I went through university, and for the first time in my life, I failed at something. I got a 2-2 in university, which for me is a failure, because in my head I was going to get the first class without doing much, or so I thought. And that was, for me, was the first time that I realized the importance of, maybe because I had never really, I'd worked hard, but it became easy to me. But for the first time, I actually had to kind of work in spite of things being easy for me. And after that, I said to myself that I would never let this happen again. I would never allow myself to be complacent to where I was. So after that, I felt that in my head, I thought my life had come to an end. I'd gotten a 2-2. But I mean, I had a brother-in-law who told me to, pull yourself together. Your life does not end at 21. That you need to kind of see what you can do to progress. And I went, and for the first time in my life, I begged for something when it comes to school. I never begged for something, I just got A's and everything. I had to go to the university, go to the admissions person to beg to get into my next degree. Because I'd done my first degree in law, which I hadn't enjoyed, and I wanted to do economics. So I had to go, and I went to the admissions person, and I basically begged to enter into my postgraduate diploma program and then my master's program. And I guess they were really surprised because I took a 3-hour train journey. They were surprised to see anybody really begging to get into school. I did, I got in, and after that I was never complacent in my work again. My first year I got a prize I got a distinction. In my master's program I got a merit, and then I started to work. And for me, work was also another humbling or like life experience. When somebody asked about when you go into a new job, I think it was you, that what do you do and how do you, especially because people are coming to think that you're coming to take their job. The first thing I think for me is around the fact that in your mind, you should not let them think that you're coming. You should not give them the impression that you're coming to take their job. You need to go into any environment you go into with a lot of humility. I think that's very, very important. You go in and you actually your humility will disarm anybody that you meet in that situation. There'll be people that might have a number, but by the time you are basically going, I'm here to learn. I'm not here, somebody else said, I think it was you said there's room for overtake, and I also believe that there's room for everybody in any situation you're in, but you need to ensure that you need to be humble, you need to be open, you need to be open to learn, open to get other people's input. Humility. Thank you. Humility. When you come into any organization, humility. I worked at IBM. I was doing work that in your head you're like, really, I went to university for this, I did masters for this, or you do it, then you do it so well that they give you more and more and more. And that has been my testimony in every job I've been in. When I worked at IBM, when I worked at Stanbic, when I worked at First Bank. By the time I joined First Bank, people had a view that's another thing. People, when you go into certain situations, especially when they know you, so for you are known as the wave guy, and wave people have a reputation. You guys have a reputation. Maybe somebody said maybe you guys are I too know. So everybody has a view of somebody. I had a reputation. People thought that I would be arrogant because of that.
For myself, say 10 years I'll be there. It's good to have an idea, but it's also good to be flexible because you never know what you'll stumble on, and you never know where you excel. Social media and digital marketing is something I did for fun. It was my fun. It was my getaway. This is what I did. I ate bread for breakfast. Look at my picture. I combed my hair. I cut my hair. Look at my video. And somehow every experience that I've had in life, the books that I never read, which I had to read to write an exam, have helped my writing. The journalism school that I went to have helped my editing. I understand anything about it. You can't play me when it comes to video. I know what is wrong and what is right. Helped me. The ability to speak, public speaking, this journalism school helped me. And then the marketing job that I was doing, that was like, okay, it's great, it's fantastic, that I hated and I cried about, led me to all these multiple little experiences. The ability to be patient when you're struggling, because all my mates had gone to school for 3 years and I still graduated before most of them. Do you understand? So all the patience, the struggle even at work, I've had difficulty at work, and there were times when I was not happy and I felt like, I'm just going to get on the plane and run away. I stayed. All those experiences that I've gone through have led me to where I am, and I'm still learning. The things I'm learning being in front of you right now, and I'm still learning. Whatever experience I'm experiencing right now is going to help me in the future. So yes, work hard, but also challenge yourself, because there was a time that I didn't work for a year, I didn't have a job for a year, and books and scripts came out of me. And when I read these things back, I go, you wrote that? Because I challenged myself and I said, I'm not going to sit down and wallow in self-pity. I'm going to make sure that even though for this year I'm not working, there's something that I did and it came out of me. And I read it and I go, if I didn't push myself, I wouldn't have known that there was a story like that inside of me, or that I had the ability to write like that or do something like that. So, yes, it's all fantastic and you're learning and you all have goals and everything, but stay aware of your environment, stay prayerful, I believe in prayer, stay aware of your environment, stay prayerful, and stay open. You just never know what you will stumble on, what relationships you make, the people that will push you. And appreciate those relationships in your life, people that don't let you like be complacent, people that don't let you like, yeah, you're sad, stay there. People who push you, those are the relationships that you should be in. Bosses that challenge you, environments that want to rip your head off, but you're just like, you know what, I'll keep doing the work. I love your story, by the way, the Chinese woman. Keep learning about their culture. Learn good morning in her language, for example. When you see her in the morning, go, ni hao, ni hao ma, and surprise her. Make an effort. Do you understand? Push yourself beyond that. And don't wait for anyone to teach you anything. The world is in your palm, in the palm of your hands. I'm not joking. That's your phone and your 1,000 naira data. I'm not joking. Yeah, you know why I said that. But it's everything in your hand. That's all you need. I'm not even joking. That's literally all you need. I don't bake. Matter of fact, I hate to bake. I love to cook, but baking is not my thing. But the other day, I made one of the hardest desserts ever, souffle. And I was in shock because I'm like, I did not learn from my boss. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to look at this video and I'm going to do it. And I got into the kitchen. And they were all laughing, Miss Niyi, you don't bake. Miss Niyi, you don't bake. When I made this souffle, and even the head of hands was like, oh wow, well done. Because I pushed myself. So I don't know that's knowledge of souffle. Maybe I'll cook my own one. I don't know. But not a souffle, I made it. So go and Google it. It's hard. And I made it.
And it stayed up.
And it stayed up and it came out of the thing like a little mushroom. It was amazing. But yeah, so push yourself. So I don't really have anything beyond that to say.
Okay. So Niyi said something, so I'm going to differ a bit. But you see, she's the creative and the one that works in the bank. So we have kind of different paths, but I still think we're kind of saying the same thing. Niyi said something about being open to different things and not necessarily knowing where you're going to end up. I agree and I disagree. I'm part of the reason I'm actually here today is because I took today and tomorrow off to plan. I kind of need to I keep needing to reset myself and plan. So, me.
You actually took time off work just to sit and plan your life.
Because I can't think at work. It's been
I mean like a child midnight to 3 a.m. Because she can't, because she has to sleep. So me 12 midnight to 3 a.m. is when I plan my life.
I need my sleep. But I needed to take time off work because I needed to sit back and kind of plan. There was somebody that spoke to a group of us a few weeks ago, and one of the things she had said was the importance of having career plans or life plans. Don't know about career. Having life plans. And she said she does like 5-year plans, and she goes, okay, between now and in the next 5 years, these are the things I want to achieve. Maybe these are the this is what I want to achieve. Now she's said this is her target. The next thing she does is plan how she's going to get there. So she thinks through what skills she needs to get to get there, maybe what training she needs to get there and all of that. So she plans not only the end goal, but how to get there. So for me, part of what I'm doing right now is this plan. I'm going through it.
I like it.
No, I'm going through it. Midlife crisis. So, but seriously, for you guys, yeah, but I don't know if that was your, no, okay, you wanted to be a diplomat.
Yes.
And one of the things you said for me that I thought was really cool was how you were continuing to read and everything. Are you learning languages? Exactly. Okay, fantastic. I've been learning French my whole life. I'm really bad at
Sultan
it.
is my friend.
I know, I love Sultan.
Sultan is my friend.
Sultan is so cool. Sultan said that, but he also said something that I thought was very impressive. He said that he's currently in debt recovery, and he was able to map his current role to what he's trying to achieve. He said, I'm in debt recovery, but my role right now, I might not love it, but I'm learning negotiating skills. And a diplomat is actually now negotiating between countries. Currently, you're negotiating just trying to collect 50,000 naira this month or 100,000 naira loan. And for me, I just sit there and think, and that's something I feel that, I'm sorry if I'm sounding old, I don't think young people understand nowadays that actually in everything that you're doing, you're actually learning some sort of skill or getting some value from it. It might not be the job you want to do. Personally, even the job that I'm doing right now, everybody's looking at it thinking, wow, it's great. I get to travel. I'm kind of doing what you're doing. But it is part of my end goal. This is not where I want to be. I have a plan, and so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, fine. I'm learning because of this traveling. I'm able to understand different cultures. It's going to help me when I want to do X, Y, Z. I don't want to give you guys all my secrets, but there's a plan. And for me, I think that's very important.
YouTube, she doesn't want to give you YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube will give you those. Honestly, YouTube is the way. Although, yeah, those was like that's a different story. But really, for me, it is kind of being almost in wherever you are right now, sitting back and thinking. So, Sultan, you're doing debt recovery. It's different person will just say, God, debt recovery. I'm just chasing people for money. Or something I sat back and said, yes, I am, but I'm looking at it. The skills I'm learning and negotiating skills is helping me get here. The other thing something is doing that I find impressive is learning, is doing other things to augment, to get to that position. So he's doing his French, he's taking this current skill and doing something else. Something else you said that I thought was also very good was around the fact, and I don't know if it was something I added to it, was around the fact that when you're also even looking for jobs, some people think certain jobs are really brilliant. I do not agree with that. I've been lucky to have some very good jobs. At the same time, you remember I told you that I was a bit of a one. I thought I was the smartest student ever when I was younger. When I was about 16, I was working in a law firm, and they used to pay, it was just like a summer job, and all they made me do was photocopy. And honestly, it was beneath me. When I became the best photocopier ever, and photocopying, the things would come in the right order, and after a while they give you more. I know it sounds really, it sounds almost too, it sounds like a movie, but it really is. You do whatever menial job they give you, and then you do more. You are able to, you need to prove yourself in doing the little before people are willing to give you more. Because nobody owes you anything. That's the other thing I think people don't sometimes remember. They don't owe you anything. Even the fact that you have the wave background, is nothing. After school and after whatever training you get, you actually earn your stripes by proving yourself day in, day out. So it's every time you prove yourself in whatever workplace you're in, that people will be willing to entrust you with more. So the wave, or my education, or her social media skills is just the what opens the door. What actually keeps you is your ability to prove yourself consistently day after day. So with regards to, I guess what I was trying to say about different from me is a free spirit. I'm a planner. So either can work for you. The other thing is that even though she's a free spirit, she and my God are tight. Even though I'm a planner, me and my God are tight. I'm not trying to put religion on you, but I think it's important. I'm not saying it's Christian, but I think you need to believe in some sort of higher power. It actually kind of keeps you centered. So it's also very important. I think it's also something that you might want to kind of, it helps center you. So that's all that. So
questions.
I was just about to ask that. I'm not going to say I'm an easy boss. I'm sorry, right? You're at work. I'm not here to be your friend. We do play, I laugh with my people, but I think sometimes people need to understand that you're here to work. It's actually important you're here to work. I'm not here to be your friend. If I smile at you, that's good. But smiling at you is extra. They're here to do a job. So when you do your job, a boss is actually less likely to be difficult, or the word difficult. So, sorry, you probably, yeah.
We like the word particular. A boss who is particular about getting things done.
I'm very particular. So some people call it anal. I call it particular. I think it's important that when you come to work, and like when someone writes me a memo, sometimes, especially if it's a part of my team that I've written memos a number of times, I just return the memo and say there's something wrong here. Let me know what's wrong. Because I have taught you once, twice, 3 times. After a while, there's an expectation that you know what my standards are. I also think, also about difficult bosses. I actually disagree that any boss is difficult. Once you realize what your boss's expectations are, the boss is no longer difficult. You actually just meet your boss's expectations. So what your job needs to be, whoever is going into any environment, is to understand what your boss's standards and expectations are. Because understanding the boss's standards and expectations, it cannot be difficult because most bosses are not mad. They're not actually here to do grades. It's actually because you're not meeting their expectations that they are quote-unquote difficult. That's my view, but I mean, I wish my team was here. They might differ, but I actually think it's just...
It's my body. Let me tell you what I like about Tomi. If you ask Adeomi to do something,
And don't raise your hand so they know who you are.
he's right there.
Yeah.
If you ask him to do something, right, he gets it done. If he doesn't understand, he asks.
Yes.
And you only have to tell him one more time. You don't have to tell him again. He will get it done. That's one thing that I really like about Adeomi. Adeomi faces his job and minds his business. And he has had difficult times at work where things are really frustrating for him, where he has to handle different personalities. His personality is more reserved and there are more outspoken, catty ones around him. And he's had to manage, he's had to manage them. And I've seen him manage with grace and with humility and with, for lack of a better word, class. Just do your job. It's work. Just do your job. There's no need for drama or semantics or playing around or this person did this to me, that person did this to me. Just face your front and do your job, get your paycheck and go home. End of story. Now, from the perspective of difficult bosses, how you manage them, I think she's aptly said it. Find a way to meet their expectations. I'm also a very big proponent of emotional well-being. If this boss is just mad and you can't take it anymore and you've done your best and you know it's becoming very detrimental to you in your heart of hearts, so not because you're being lazy or you're being petty, in your heart of hearts you know that how did this come back and come in one day or whatever. Yes, at this point in time I'm a proponent for emotional well-being. Have a talk with someone, let the person understand the situation and see if they can talk you out, and if they can't, you know what it's time to be. Your mental health and your emotional health is very important to me. So yes, I will tell you that as well. Like you said, I'm a free spirit, but the truth is, I can't come and back.
Me, well,
you understand?
well, I had a difficult boss. Yeah, I saw him again today. But he's my friend now. Because I've left.
So
the point is, but I was there for 4 years.
Yes.
And for those 4 years, my boss told me that, and I quote, that my job is to allow him to come into the office to read newspapers and drink tea. And for me, that was really like, are you kidding me?
So you're doing your job?
Yes, but after a while, he used to come to the office and read newspapers and drink tea. We didn't fight when he used to read newspapers and drink tea.
Yeah.
So that was what I did for him. I truly did not respect him, and as soon as I left, well now we smile at each other. But I realized that this is what he wanted to do. He actually wanted to come and help me a lot of work. So I had to carry more on him. So I did that. I did that for as long as I needed to do. I needed to do that work. I did it for 4 years. And then I left. I got a better job. I got better pay. And we're now, we're on the same level. Nearly. Like, I overtook him. He's now come again. But you know what I'm trying to say? You just need to sometimes, just take the crap. You need to take the crap. I know, sorry if I'm being a bit crass, but you need to be willing to take the crap. Because after a while, that crap will sit. It's like manure, and you grow from it. That is, I know it's deep in it. Thank you. Yeah, but really that was what it was. I feel for me, like the first 4 years, the 4 years I was working in my previous job was literally like me taking a lot of crap. It's okay. And the skills I learned from it, I didn't realize while I was there. But after I left, I also learned things about how not to be a manager from the manager that I had. So there are a lot of different skills you learn from it. You need to be willing to take whatever, in that environment and be willing to take things from it. So, yeah. But I don't want, thank you. America, so you guys just go.
Because it's based on efficiency and
well,
output.
You see, that's the thing, and this is what gets measured gets done. Sorry, I know this is random and off the point, but everything, this all has to do with, you just need to kind of measure your staff, have clear contracts or clear, you probably have it easier. Bring money, you get paid. You don't bring money or something like that, there might be bonuses on that, but that actually drives you. That's probably what's going to drive you. So for wherever you are, whatever position you find yourself, you need to provide, you'll be able to clearly show your achievements and clearly be measured and rewarded on those achievements. I think that's the most important thing. Find out how to go. When you say listen. Also, there's the other aspect of it might be the only way the business is going to stay afloat. Do this thing. Maybe for you, you're saying that it's unrealistic for me to try and recover that money. But if you don't recover that money, you will be out of the job. So it's kind of balancing those two. The last thing you said was...
And so just to add to that, I think one thing that I find helpful is to sort of ask, okay, these are the things that I think need to be true to get here. It's unrealistic in my head though, but if you want us to sell 5 million this year, these are the things that need to be true for us to get there. I need a company car to get there. I need a list of contacts. I need access to blah. Oga, if you want me to do this, this is what I need. And then it now opens up a conversation with your boss. Like, oh, these are the things that Nkem is actually concerned about. Let me see which of these I can address. The ones I can't, but let's at least have a conversation. As opposed to saying, you remember negotiation class, you have your positions and you have your concerns and your interests. Both of your positions, one, I want you to do 5 million, the other position is impossible, sir. You will not get anywhere. But if you say, oh, these are the reasons why we need to do 5 million, the business is not going to be around, I need to raise money, whatever, and you now come with your own concerns. These are the reasons why I'm afraid we can't do 5 million. There's never any car, there's no this to do this, then you can now have a conversation. How do you reward?
Okay, so you want to ask a question?
I come to understand that there's always competition.
Yes.
So
that's the reward. I think for me it depends on different businesses.
She rewards with money.
No, I don't actually. I reward with food.
Bonus.
I reward with food. But I think like every other Friday we're having fun. I brought them to ice cream a few weeks ago. I like small chops. So I don't like food, but I like small chops. So maybe I'll buy small chops. But it's also reward. It's also linked to actually those are not rewards. I just like celebrating things. But let me focus on reward. For me, reward. I'm also the structure that is not easy to reward because reward is actually in line with very clear structures and procedures. I don't work for myself, so I cannot just say salt and collect. So reward for me is in a lot of different places. Reward comes things like opportunity that I give them. Reward comes in exposure that I give people. Reward comes in also, and in the full formal appraisal time, I will recognize their work. But you cannot wait once a year to do all of that. So if, for example, I know there was a time when, not this road before, I got invited to go to Dubai with NCR, people that supply ATMs. And I said to myself, it's not me that is doing this work. Ayobami, they're going to Dubai. So I've recognized him, I've rewarded him for that, and that's how it works. Because through the formal system, I can really only promote him every 2 years, for example. I can only do, so I've given him that opportunity. Another reward is through training. I reward my staff by giving them training, trying to find training opportunities for them and things like that. So reward for me, because of the kind of organization I'm in, I do the formal stuff, but I look through other informal things. Now, the cake and ice cream and stuff, me, I just like eat junk. So we eat junk together. So it's not around. I like to eat good, scrumptious, sweet life, sweet things. I like to eat sweet things. I love sweet things. I love cake. They're always pushing cake on me. I like cake, I like stuff, I like small chops, I like things like that. So as a team, that I think is also something around just fostering a good team spirit. So as I'm fostering that team spirit, tomorrow I'll tell you, Sultan, what you did was crap. I'm sorry, I'm also very direct with my people. So I can tell them that, but because we have a good relationship, they know that what I'm saying, I'm talking about the job. That same day, I can fight with you. The next 30 minutes, we're eating whatever. We're having fun. But I will tell you, I'm not saying I'm a perfect boss. You have to ask my people to know. But I think, having that line of communication with your staff when it comes to all of that, and also it helps them so that when I'm rewarding you or not rewarding you as the case would be, it's also very clear. And the last thing was around competition. Okay, as a boss, I don't know if I encourage competition. I'm trying to think, because my team we have a funny team, so I'm not sure if that's the best way. But for me, competition, for a boss to actually rate people, when we talk about rewards, you need to compare them with somebody. So if I have Sultan and I have Oluwole, Sultan and Oluwole, they both went to Wave, they both had the same course, and they both did and Wave won or whatever. you're both there. You both start in my organization at the same time. I'm going to have to compare you against something. You are actually competing. Let's go in the real world. So you're actually competing against each other. And as a boss, I actually need to be able to compare with somebody. So what tends to happen is that when I'm doing my appraisal, I'm appraising on a number of things. I'm appraising on, are you functioning at a higher level than you are? Are you functioning at the level I want to promote you to? And if I put the two of you next to each other, are you at par or better than Mr. X? And if I only have one spot, I will promote the person that is above. It is what it is. It's real life. It's real. It's a doggy dog world. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be nice, and that doesn't mean you're competing against each other, but you're also colleagues. So it's a funny situation. You're colleagues, so you should always help. Also, part of what I rate my people and how helpful they are to their team members should help them. But it's a competition at the end of the day. Because people will rate you to say, I have two people, same exposure, same everything. If who would I trust? Who will I entrust with more responsibility? So for me, competition is real life. You just need to be there. But sorry, there's something I watched today or last week. Yes, something I watched last week, and I think for me that's what I wanted to kind of leave with. And so someone shared like a video with me, and there was something they said that I thought was, and I think all of us just need to kind of imbibe or think about, is the fact that when you have two people that you're trying to employ, this is the person that said this, his name is Elon Musk. I don't know if you know him.
Tesla.
He did Tesla, and he's done a lot of different kinds of like he's a
Tesla is an
serial
electric car company.
Yeah, electric car. He's a serial entrepreneur. One of the things he said, and I thought for me that was really, really good, is like, that you shouldn't put too much weight on someone's talent, but you should put more on their personality. It matters more if someone has a good heart. That it's not just about your intellect. And for me, that's what I kind of want to leave all of you with. That it actually matters if you guys are good people. So the basic thing I think that from Wave and generally is that you guys need to ensure that you're doing the right thing. There's basic intellect that everybody is going to expect, but it really does matter in anything you're doing. So when you talk about, that's why I keep going back to when you talk about competition, when we talk about everything, still do your work, but do it from a good place and with a good heart. It sounds very wishy-washy. I'm coming from somebody who has talked about the money and has said that they're structured and whatever. I know it might be sounding one kind, but really, your heart is very important in all of this. And it is very key. Sorry, I just let somebody go today at home, not at work. And for me, two people. I fired two people today. It's a long story. You don't hear about it. But what actually was it for me, and was a comment the person passed when they were asked a question, it showed their heart. And people say, I don't know, maybe it's a Yoruba, maybe it's a Yoruba, I don't know. Sometimes I think in Yoruba, but I don't can't speak very well, but I think in Yoruba is a funny thing. But, and for me, it showed their heart, it showed their character. I think that's it, character is important. Character is so important. So in everything you're doing, be conscious of your character and always test your conscience and test your character. So in you talking about this girl always being late, test your character, test your conscience and say, okay, maybe there's a way I could handle it better, maybe I can be what would I expect other people to do to you? I'm not saying don't do your job, I'm not saying don't do the right thing, but just always test your conscience, test your character, and just do good. But do you, please. That's my phrase for the last 3 months in all the books I've read. Please do you. Just be you, do you. Sorry, I'm just talking. Me.
Alright, awesome, great. Sorry, Niyi, do you have any parting shots?
Any what?
Parting shots.
Life sucks. Please just have fun. Seriously. Find that thing that centers you and makes you happy again. Is to eat. I got sick a couple weeks ago. Yeah, food almost killed me. Yeah, but I survived. But find that thing that makes you happy, and in between the other miserable things you're doing, find that thing that makes you happy and try to do it as often as you can. Oh, and my cousin says something that I really believe in. Never stop learning.
Yes.
It's never stop learning. Never stop learning.
Yes.
Never stop learning.
Yes.
It's very, very.
No, not me, her cousin, her other cousin. My sister.
Other cousin, her sister, says never stop learning. She's currently learning right now.
And she's a boss.
And she's a boss.
She's a boss. She's their boss.
Yes.
And she's going to school.
And she's going to school. So if your boss is going to school, use Soji and never stop learning. If you don't have the opportunity or the finances, like I said, I'm a very big proponent for data. Buy some data and read. And
There's so much stuff on the internet.
There's just so much stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
Not twerking and porn, but like real stuff that you can actually read. Use it for real things. Go through articles. Read short articles. It's actually very good for your brain. You don't have to read long, detailed articles. Just read quick things, quick news. This is a BBC News.
BBC, CNN, Time. My current one is Guardian.
Daily what?
I do not read Daily Mail. I haven't read Daily Mail since October.
So in between your serious reading and some Bella Nigeria reading like
Yes.
there too. But read and never stop learning. Don't speak for life.